Good evening, everybody. This is Daily Recall for April 24th, 2026. I'm Tom Stoukas coming to you from Sarnia, Ontario. Not much happening today. The Iran war, it looks like they're still on a break, but I think they're going to get back at it. This was the big thing I saw today on the social media was Donald Trump taking a break from Iran to slag the Indians and the Chinese, which is kind of came out of nowhere. Usually he's been pretty nice. He's talked about third world, how bad, how he wants to cut out third world immigration, and he named a bunch of third world countries, and he always left India off the list. So this is the first time that he said something bad about Indians, or maybe not the first time, but he's usually slagging Somalians or Haitians or Muslims. Usually they never talk about the Indians. I guess since Elon bought X, though, the Indian fatigue has grown, even, which is weird because Elon loves the H-1B, the worker visa. So, but his ex has helped the Indian fatigue spread, I guess. So anyway, what did he say? What did Trump say? It was like a podcast monologue by, I think, what's his name? Savage Nation. I can't remember his first name. But anyway, it's called Savage Nation, and basically he was a rant against the flood of immigration into the U.S. from India and China, and how it's displacing a lot of American jobs in that. So Trump retweeted all that, and part of the thing is calling India a hellhole, and Indian and Chinese immigrants as gangsters with laptops who have stepped on our flag. I didn't read all this. It's a long thing, but anyway, it's causing a lot of waves in the Indian community. That's for sure. They're very upset about this. But I thought it was interesting. Because we knew in Canada it was a big issue, mass immigration. And in the U.S. it was, they were kind of looking at us like, oh my gosh, you're overrun by Indians. Like if you go to any of the major cities. But U.S., I don't think they noticed how they were being overrun, because I guess they're more spread out. New York, California, Chicago, Texas. But they must have just invaded Texas so quick. And so that's so much and so quick in such a short time that people had to say, hey, what's going on here? So it's growing quickly in the U.S., the Indian fatigue, unlike Canada, where many people can't stand the Indian invasion but are still afraid to be called racist. Yeah. We really let it get out of control. So the States, I don't know. Maybe they'll be more forthcoming than us. Okay, here's Jesse Kelly. He's I don't know who he is, but he said the GOP and corporate America might think they have a grasp on the simmering anger Americans have for this country being taken over by foreigners. I'm warning both entities now, you have no idea. Get on the right side of this issue quickly. So yeah, the States is starting to, a lot of Americans are starting to get, sound like sounding the alarm, I guess, on this immigration issue. Especially now that Trump's president, when Biden was president, he had the border wide open, but they expected Trump to stop immigration, and he did stop the like the illegal immigration pouring over the border, maybe, but he's the legal immigration is the one that people are complaining about now with him as president. So I think that was the big thing today. So we'll go through the rest of the day here. It's all Indian related for some reason, and I don't want to talk about this every day, but Jesus, whatever I see here. So let's just go through the daily feed. This is the Indian culture. It's crazy. I'm trying to find it. During the religious gathering and holy bathing event at India's Badranath Ganges fair, several Indian women were sexually assaulted in the water, causing panic amid the overcrowding, and the event quickly spiraled out of control. It's like, look at that. Ugh. And the water doesn't look very good either. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I've seen enough. There's Trump's thing again. I'm just reading some reaction to it. This is from the Hindu American Foundation. A little Indian backlash going. And you know, Trump, just because he retweeted it doesn't mean he's going to do anything. But there's definitely a lot of sentiment among the electorate on this issue. So we haven't heard the last of it. Even if Trump doesn't do anything on his, he talks a lot. So it says, Hindu American Foundation. We are deeply disturbed by Trump's sharing this hateful racist screed targeting Indian and Chinese Americans. Endorsing such rants as the President of the United States will further stoke hatred. Stoke hatred and endanger our communities at a time when xenophobia and racism are already at an all-time high. We asked Donald Trump to reconsider, delete this post, and recognize the indelible contributions of Asian Americans to our great country. So, you don't hear the Chinese complaining. The Indians are the ones who are upset. Okay. Next post here. This is hilarious. This is getting, it's a lot of airplay through like the international news. Some kind of Sikh gathering in Queen's Park for Sikh some month. The whatever month they're having. I can't even remember the holiday. So they were having a thing at Queen's Park, and one group of Indians was bitching about one thing, and the other, I don't know. They got in an argument in Queen's Park, like at the legislature. So no respect for the institution. Anybody else that did that, could you imagine if anti-lockdown protesters did this? They'd be in jail. Let's see this. What the hell? Look at these guys. They're acting like they're in India. This is Ontario legislature. You would think it's in India, not the Ontario legislature, but it's Ontario. Treating it like India. Look at these guys. Not assimilating. I don't see them assimilating. I don't even know what the argument's about. I don't even give a shit, really. Mind you, this isn't Canadians, like some racist Canadians. It's Indians fighting Indians. There are racists, like there are Canadians. I saw a video today, actually. So anyway, this is Ontario over Parliament. Nobody stepped in. If it was anybody else, they'd have like the SWAT team in there. This is, and Doug Ford bragged about the bringing all these guys into Ontario. He said, oh, they're lining up to come to Ontario. He bragged about this. All right. So we've had Indian fatigue, but Canadians just don't do anything about it. Americans, they might. Maybe they will, maybe they're not. They won't. Here's another reaction to Trump. The Indians are losing their minds, and it's a beautiful thing. Now we must send them all home. Cancel birthright citizenship. This tweet was about, a lot of it was talking about birthright citizenship. Like in Canada, in the U.S. and in Canada, it gets abused big time by mostly Indians and Chinese. Now we must send them all home, cancel birthright citizenship, and denaturalize anchor babies like Vivek Ramaswamy. But most of all, end all Indian visas. I've been saying ban immigration from India for a long time. And it's not like it's because I don't like I hate them. It's because they've failed all the metrics of if there was an immigration point chart, they would fail all the metrics. So yeah, ban immigration from India. Here's another one. Imagine how bad a group you have to be that the President of the United States calls you a shithole full of scammers on the main. Rough day for Indians. Yeah, they're really upset about Trump. Trump didn't. I was always criticizing Trump. He'd always list 20 countries. He's like, we got to ban immigration from these countries. And then a lot of them I said, yeah, good idea. But he always left India off. And I was like, unless you include India, it's like a waste of time. And this is some Indian, I'm not up to date on the Hindu theology and all that, but this is crazy stuff. Not assimilating. It's not assimilating. It's not Orthodox and Catholic. It's a totally different thing. All right. See, this Indian stuff keeps showing up on my timeline. I'm sorry. Look at this guy. Right. This is a crazy story. Edmonton police have charged a 21-year-old daycare employee. I shouldn't laugh. With sexual assault following a reported incident involving a child, and say more complainants may come forward. According to the Edmonton Police Service, a parent contacted officers on April 8th about an incident at a West Edmonton daycare. Investigators identified a teaching assistant as the suspect. He was suspended by his employer, and his childcare certification was also suspended. On April 21st, police arrested 21-year-old Kulraj Singh. He's been charged with sexual assault and sexual interference. Police say he also worked at a second daycare. Oh my God. Central Edmonton. I don't know what the hell, man. Like, anybody who thinks this guy should be working in, any of these Indian dudes should be working in daycare, needs to have their head examined, because obviously he came on a student visa, but come on, man. Even a white dude in daycare is weird. An Indian guy is red flag up the pole. That's crazy. And I don't know. What are these parents thinking too? Sorry, parents, but I live in Sarnia, and I actually saw some Indian dudes at a daycare, and I was like, that's insane. But it happens, I guess. They're everywhere. Here's Southern Mama. If I walked into a daycare and saw this man, I would turn around and leave. I don't think it's normal for a 21-year-old man. He's 21, eh? 21-year-old man to work in a daycare, and the fact that he is Indian is even more of a red flag for me. It's better for me to be called a bigot than my kid be called a victim. Yeah, that's shit scars for life, man. Fuck political correctness. That's scars for life. even if there's a tiny chance you don't allow it. Like, whoever thinks Indians should be in daycare need their heads examined. Indian dudes in daycare, I don't know. I can't believe we even have this discussion. It's like the worst combination is Indian dudes and daycare. Let's do it. Why not? All right. I like this. Canada's population must return to 32 million as it was before Trudeau. The artificial increase in population has destroyed the country's economy and social cohesion. Yes. It's true. Hopefully we can recover. I don't know. We got to keep it up. Keep the effort up. All right. Here's another one. Canada is canceling thousands of asylum claims. It's leaving this man and many other migrants stuck in limbo here. I'm sure I know why, but I don't think I can get Toronto Star. I always sign up and it keeps asking me to. I don't know. Anyway, there's a lot of problems with the asylum system, and they need to fix it because we already knew about the hundreds of millions that go to for healthcare for a lot of these fake claimants. Okay. I don't know what's going on here. Okay. Anyway, it's Canadian bureaucracy. For some reason, they're still here. Because, you know, the thing with Canada is, even if they cancel their claims, they can still appeal for some reason. Who knows? Got to really crack down on the asylum system anyway. I don't like Toronto Star, their paywall, whatever the hell that is. This is funny. We saw the video last week of a TTC overcrowded. And then this is India. Oh God. They're crammed in, they're good. All right, I've seen enough. We're not there yet, I guess. All right. And here's what I said. This has been getting a lot of posts. Indian fatigue growing quickly in the U.S., unlike Canada, where many people are still afraid to be called a racist. But I think the thing with the Americans is, even though they have problems with their government basically ripping them off and going to war for Israel, they still have, like, even the government doesn't want to push them too hard. Like, they were the only country that didn't have the vax pass nationwide because they know, this government knows they can push them so far. So it's not surprising that they're reacting like they are to this so quickly. And there's not even that many Indians. There's like, I don't know, 5 million? That's not that many for the States size. For Canada, it's a lot. I think we even got more than 5 million. Who knows? This is a chart that's been popular. I don't know. You can design it for each country. So this is like the migration flow into Canada. We'll look at this chart. So it says migration into Canada since 2008. Notice the increase circa 2015. All right, let's start it from the beginning here. So where's it coming from? India. I don't know where the other country is. Philippines. South America, but mostly India. Mostly Philippines, mostly China. rewind it. My logo was in the way. Look at that. Look at that. India is still going strong. And then the Philippines, and then a little bit of China. Some Nigeria happening there. Why we got Nigeria? Look at Nigeria go, oh my God. India, no. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Look at India's. That's a lot. 16 million. Oh, this one's Australia. A lot of it was from England. And then it's India, China. There's the Indian outpour again. And a lot of Chinese. Where's Nigeria? No. Wow. Look at how quick it went in the last few years. Just like Canada. Anyway. That's been going around a lot. And a lot of vivid reaction to it. Because charts like that really show it's like crazy. They have to go back. The scale of mass migration over the last 2 decades is completely astounding. The pace of demographic change will only accelerate as migrants continue to outbirth heritage Canadians. The only solution is remigration. Yeah. Here's another one. It just never ceases to amaze me how brainwashed white folks are. Mass immigration from India, Africa, etc. negatively impacts every single aspect of our lives, and yet talking about it at all is the ultimate taboo. Yep. For some people. I don't have any taboos. Well, mostly. Here's Canadian Patriot. Nothing else matters except stopping and reversing this. Okay, yes. Here's this one. This is horrible. Toronto's turning into a third world city. And like when I mean a third world city, I mean if a woman can't walk safe in the street, then it's a third world city. This guy's from like Ethiopia or something. On April 19th, 6:47 a.m., a suspect approached a victim from behind. 6:47 a.m. Behind near Church Street and the Esplanade and forced him to an isolated area where they sexually assaulted. The assault was interrupted when a passerby intervened, causing the suspects to flee on foot. Well, at least somebody intervened. That's a surprise. Jamal Ditamo, 23 of Toronto, was identified. Look at this guy. Yeah. So we need to ban immigration. I see a ban immigration from India, but we got to ban immigration from Africa because that's what you're going to be importing here. I'm sorry. It's the truth. And there's a lot of Africans. There's like 1.5 billion Africans that want to get the hell out of Africa. So, like this guy. They'll probably give him bail. Did he get bail? It didn't say. He appeared on court at Toronto Regional Bail Center. Oh, God. All right. Yeah, that's a big problem. Okay. Here's this one. The Liberal Party import millions of migrants, discriminate against white people in hiring, gives non-whites shorter prison sentences, and sterilizes children. Oh, sorry. Poilievre is too cowardly to address this, and O'Toole openly supports it. The Conservative Party are totally useless. Yeah, that's why I retweeted it, because it totally is true. Like, the Liberals are destroying the country, and the conservatives aren't doing anything to stop them, except maybe let their supporters vent a little and pretend like they're doing something. It's horrible. Pierre's so useless. Former CPC leader Aaron O'Toole told Global News that Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives need to moderate their policy positions if they want to beat the Liberals. I think they have to go the other way. They have to go crazy, like total, like some crazy. They have to shift dramatically to a Canada First policy, not this whatever mishmash liberal globalist crap. But Aaron O'Toole, like, he might as well be a liberal, Aaron O'Toole. Same with Pierre. They all belong together. Uniparty. Here's this guy. This will be interesting to see. He's running for governor of Ohio. And with all this Indian fatigue really going against him, we'll see if Vivek wins. And then you got the vice president's wife's an Indian, so that's probably just reminds everybody. It's hilarious to see the U.S. talking like Canadians have been for the last 2 years. It's funny. Because the media in the U.S. tricked them to only go after Muslims and maybe some African, like some Somalians. But now, thanks to X, they're going after everybody. All right. Here's this. There's still people in Conservative Party who think Pierre's going to save Canada. That's hilarious. This is Stephanie. Sorry, Stephanie. Just one thought. Wake the fuck up, Canada. Enough. We need a real leader, and that man is Pierre. The guy lost his own riding. He went to the safest seat in the country. He lost countless members to Florida. He's down in the polls all the time. He gets outsmarted by Carney. He ain't saving jack shit. Punjab Pierre, more like it. His party's full of Indians. It's just funny that there's actually conservatives that think he's Canada. Okay. And I'm not trying to pick on Pierre, but Carney, we already know, is trying to destroy Canada with the immigration. I don't even care about the other policies at this moment, like energy policy or trade policy. It doesn't matter until you figure out this immigration policy. So we already know Carney's position. Pierre is the one who's the fake opposition guy. So that's why he needs something totally new. There's Pierre. I like watching these.
Direct flight to
Amritsar
now, so that we can fly and go see the Golden Temple. See, we have the biggest Punjabi expatriate community in the world.
So this guy ain't gonna save Canada from the Indian invasion. He ain't gonna save shit.
To try and get a direct flight to Amritsar.
And sir, you have said that if you form the next government, you will start direct flights from Canada to Amritsar to Punjab. So what is your refreshed plan on that?
Well, we want to work with the Indian government to get a direct flight from Vancouver and from Toronto to Amritsar.
I will continue to fight for a direct flight from Vancouver to Amritsar.
No.
My team, which includes Tim Uppel, my deputy leader, are working with them to get a direct flight from Vancouver and Toronto directly to the state of Punjab.
Liberals have failed.
Jeez.
We cannot afford a fourth Liberal term. A failure. We need a change with a new conservative government that will fight for a
I love the
direct
music
flight
too.
to Amritsar.
Fight for a flight directly from Vancouver and from Toronto to the state of Punjab.
He's going to save Canada.
He signed on with Modi to an open skies agreement that doesn't include a flight to Amritsar.
He signed on with Modi to an open skies agreement that doesn't include a flight to Amritsar.
He really wants that flight. He's not saying much about Amritsar lately.
Trudeau, we still don't have a direct flight to Amritsar. My common sense plan would
Like he's clearly appealing to all these Khalistani people and Punjabis in Canada for votes. That's all he's doing. And all it's going to do is make it easier for him to get here. So that's Pierre. Anyway. Okay. I watched this today. It's interesting. It's too bad this guy has tattoos all over him, but whatever. It is. Who am I to judge? But he said something. It was an interesting video. And it's basically for people that are like, who say, oh, it's over, man. Like, they're going to take us all over. And like, whatever. Maybe, maybe not. But it's kind of a cool video to ward off the black pill. And if you like history like I do, it's kind of interesting.
Happy, they want everybody to come in. All right, so I see a lot of people talking about the fact that the white population is going down and that white people are set to become a minority in the near future. And essentially that white people or people of European descent will go extinct. I wish we could bet on this because I'm going to tell you right now, that is never going to happen. I would put the house on it. This would be like investing in Bitcoin in 2009. I'm sorry to burst someone's bubble if they don't like white people, but us going extinct is 100% never going to happen. And you can look through history and see this over and over and over and over. I'll break it down for you. Basically what it is something called white dormancy. What it is when everything's good, white people are docile, they're happy, they want everybody to come in, check out their stuff, they're very selfless. Then when it reaches a certain boiling point, they freak the fuck out and start taking over everything until they become sufficiently exhausted. And then they just settle down with the civilization and the things that they've conquered. And then they just go dormant, like nothing even happened. Like, oh, it's good, everything's fine. This can be seen with the Vikings, this can be seen with the Napoleonic War, this can be seen with the British Empire, this can be seen with the Roman Empire, this can be seen with 1940s Germany, this can be seen with the 100 Years' War, this can be seen with the Crusades. It just keeps happening. And every culture has their own conquest-oriented ethic. But when you look at history, white people just seem to do it to a very extreme extent. We're just a very martial people. This is something that just happens over and over and over and over and over and over again. So some people are like, are you worried about this? How do you feel about it? Or should we be worried? And as someone who knows like the bare minimum about history, no. Literally fucking not at all. Well, yeah, it's different because technology now and they can da-da-da. Listen, no, it's never going to happen. So if you're banking on that, you either know nothing about history, have a room temperature IQ, or you just hate white people and you're wishful thinking. Because again, this literally happens nonstop, like a loop through history. And there's not one single thing that suggests it'll ever be any different. Because when that pressurized cooking actually pops, there's no negotiating, there's no slurs, there's no guilt, there's literally nothing you can do at that point. And I personally feel like in this past years, if we learned anything, white people are 100% pressurized and cooking as we speak right now. So again, am I worried about it? Absolutely not, and neither should you be.
I thought it was an interesting video. Everybody's usually so what's the word? When you given up, everybody's given up, I guess. So it's kind of a different tone. What's Jeremy Mackenzie say? Philip has prophesied it. One moment everyone is sleeping, and the next there's men in matching shirts beating drums, and the earth shakes beneath their feet. It's not a bug, it's a feature. All right. Well, we'll see if he's right. I think there's a lot of history to it, yeah. What's this? All these people acting like Canada is fine are old. All the young people I know are either radically right-wing or essentially DEI communists. They all know things are bad. They just have different solutions. Okay, that's interesting. It's probably true. Very true. The young people are going to be, oh man, compared to the boomer, oh my God, I don't even want to know. Like, I hope they choose wisely. It's going to be a crazy situation when the boomers who are destroying Canada, it's up to the young Canadians to clean up their mess. We'll see how it goes. All right, this one's interesting. Danielle Smith reveals the singular most hidden statistic on StatsCan website. Temporary workers cost the economy 10 times more than they produce. This is why Canada's GDP is in free fall. Okay, let's see what she says here.
A minimum of 400 million. There is that we believe that we should return to what guest workers were meant to do. Guest workers were meant to provide additional revenue for the province, and they were also meant to fill gaps that couldn't be filled by Alberta workers or Canadian workers. And I think we've gotten quite a far way from that kind of approach, especially when we look at the dollars. We did a rough calculation of what guest workers and their families cost our system, and it's about a minimum of $400 million when we look at ER and doctor visits, as well as
there
were 35,000 visits in the 2024 year that we looked at. That may be higher in 2025. We have 45,500 children of temporary workers who are in our education system. It's another 600 million. Social services like child care subsidy, Alberta Child and Family Benefits, student aid, we estimate will cost $100 million.
Wow.
Per resident. So we're well over $1 billion in cost, and yet in that same year, those same temporary workers generated $150 million in taxes.
So it costs over $1 billion, and they only pay $150 million in taxes. Quite the.
Generate more revenue than the cost.
It's because they bring all their 20 cousins over.
That's why we're looking at how they would pay for a healthcare premium, as well as ensuring that maybe
so they're sucking at all the healthcare money.
make a permanent commitment to Canada and be a permanent taxpayer. If you're a temporary worker, then you're here temporarily. If you're a guest worker, you're here as a guest. If you're a student, you're here.
They milk all the benefits.
You shouldn't be coming to Canada expecting that you're going to be able to take more taxpayer funding.
Sorry, the audio wasn't good on that. But basically, you know, when they come here to Canada, the temporary workers, they get full, like once they start filing taxes, even as temporary workers, they get treated like Canadians. So they get like the child benefit if they have kids. Like, it's crazy. And then they go to healthcare, the doctors, and they can sponsor their family. And then that's more healthcare costs, more school costs. I don't know how that's sustainable, to be honest, in Canada. Because the whole world, there's a lot of people in the world that would love to come here and take advantage of all that. I mean, where does it end? Okay, next. Just in, a Tesla dealership in Vaughan, Ontario appears to have been target of another Indian extortion gang operation. Arson happened overnight on April 22nd at the Tesla Vaughan location on Chrisley Road. 5 vehicles were heavily damaged, no injuries reported. So, that's India extortion spreading everywhere in Canada. Next, the SkyTrain video in Vancouver went viral. Vancouver train looks like India's trains. Canada is in the poo world order. Look at that, Vancouver. And that's even without a direct flight to Amritsar. Holy shit. That's Vancouver. So basically, Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, Toronto, all of Ontario is getting colonized. It's crazy. So basically, it's just, I don't know why the train's sitting there, but they're all looking at him. Anyway, you get the picture. You do the same thing in Toronto, too. I don't know what Montreal's like. I don't think it's like this. I don't think the Indians like the French. Speaking the French. I don't think they speak the French. All right. Here's another reaction to Danielle Smith. Danielle Smith out here pretending that she has just discovered the temporary foreign worker program isn't really working very well for Albertans. Corporate welfare, modern day slavery, and Alberta taxpayers are footing the bill. Okay. So yeah, the whole temporary foreign worker, it's kind of like in the States, the H-1B. It's all a scam, just to get cheap labor into the country. There's another thing from the Ontario legislature. It never should have happened. This Ontario legislature, they disrespected it. Here's Randy Hillier. What else would you expect? Well, 124 MPPs in Ontario pander to minorities and recognize Sikh Heritage Month. Yes. These guys aren't assimilating into Canada. Let's not kid ourselves here. Okay, next, there's Pierre. Happy to join our leader, Pierre Poilievre, and many other conservative colleagues to celebrate Vaisakhi on Parliament. They're still celebrating this holiday, man. There's Pierre. He's not wearing the head turban thingy. He's like, I can't wear it. They'll kill me if I wear this. So they didn't make him wear it, at least. All right. He's not saving us. Pierre ain't saving Jack. He ain't fixing Jack. Here's Daniel Thierry on the Ontario legislature. Fracas. This is what Canadian politics has been reduced to, a battleground of foreign ethnic groups playing out their intergenerational blood feuds. Those people do not magically become Canadian once they get a passport. Yeah, these guys think they're in India here. Look at them. This ain't India, buddy. All right. Here's India condemns a remark shared by Trump calling it a hellhole. Okay. Trump shared a 4-page transcript of remarks made by podcaster Michael Savage, okay, that's his name, on America's birthright citizenship, where he accused people from India and China of abusing the privilege. In Canada, for sure. We need to do something about that in Canada, big time. A baby here becomes an instant citizen, and then they bring their entire family in from China or India or some other hellhole on the planet. The transcript documents Savage as saying. So this is what Trump retweeted. The remarks created a furor in India, with the main opposition Congress party calling them extremely insulting and anti-Indian. Okay, so they weren't happy with it. Okay, here's another one. Doug Ford's Ontario. Like I said, Doug Ford he bragged about bringing on hundreds of thousands, millions of Indians. They want to come to Ontario. Of course they want to come to Ontario. There's the Conservative Party there. The day Canada and its political system gets rid of these thugs who have zero allegiance to any country, let alone Canada, it'll start to snap back to the way it was. These stateless fucks are the reason that Canada is ridiculed on the world stage. Canada was a country that was once respected for a standard of living, law and order, happiness, ethics, infrastructure, social programs that could help the needy, but in one stupid move, these guys were allowed to infiltrate every single sacred institution, and Canada was never the same. I think that's a fair statement. Fair statement. They're everywhere now. Police, bureaucracy, politics. Oh, shit. Everywhere. Look, here in Woodstock, why is this guy MP for Woodstock? Arpin Canna. Conservative MP, of course. Woodstock Conservative MP, moonlighting as an immigration lawyer. Yeah, so the Conservatives are not going to fix anything. They're a fake party. Fake party. Immigration lawyer, how is he MP for Woodstock? That's crazy. There he is there. No politician in Canada should be able to go out in public without being told this. This is funny. This is from a while ago, but it's funny.
Hey, awesome. I'm Arpan. Awesome. Great. We need mass deportations now.
What's going on in Woodstock?
Save Canada.
Oh, he's going to fix it. He's going to send more Indians. All right. See, we need somebody like this guy over in UK. Rupert Lowe, I think his name is. He started a party called Restore Britain. So basically, the Conservative Party in UK is dead. The old boomers are voting for him. So they're at 15%. They're done. This is like a nationalist party, and he's firing them up. Maybe he'll disappoint them. Who knows? But we don't have anybody like this in Canada. But he says, when you're called a racist or a bigot or a right wing, the three key words are, I don't care. And he's right. Pierre would never do this. He runs a poll before he says anything. It's ridiculous. Let's see.
The country back. They've got to adopt the same
I like this guy.
Encourage the British people that if they want their country back, they've got to adopt the same attitude that we do. And the key three words are, when you're called a racist or you're called a bigot or you're called right-wing, which I don't even think we are, I just think we're the common sense party, the three key words are, I don't care.
Yes.
So
we don't have anything like that in Canada at the moment. We just have a fake Conservative Party. We have PPC. I like PPC for their plank, but it's not taken off like Restore Britain has. The most dangerous thing in Canada right now is not the collapse of our first world civilization. It's the vast number of people still pretending that all of this is normal. Yeah, that's crazy. A lot of people with their head in the sand. Well, they'll change their mind. Sorry. They'll change their mind soon enough. A lot of people still in denial. I agree. A lot of people. Okay. All right. This is a truth. I was born in the 70s, so I was too. I was born in the 70s into a regular Canadian family, and let me tell you something. If you're a real Canadian born, turn of the century or later, and you could have my memories, experience of your living in my life in that Canada, and see what's been stolen from you, you'd start the revolution. Yeah, I agree. I remember when growing up, we'd bitch and complain. But yeah, compared to what it is today, for cost of living and being basically a minority, a foreigner in your own country, our problems were minimal back then. All right. Here's one thing. Someone sent me this today saying, so there's a PA day in Canada, in Ontario, for professional development day. The teachers get together and talk about how they can do their job better. This is what they're passing out. I'm pretty sure basically anti-white propaganda to the teachers. Presenting as white means holding certain forms of privilege, and with that comes a unique responsibility to help disrupt racism and hate when it occurs. So, message for white staff. As white staff members, we each have a responsibility to actually disrupt racism and hate. White staff must not look to colleagues of color to lead or carry this work. So, The reason I think they're doing this in Ontario, Doug Ford's Ontario, is because they're loading up the schools. Even my school, my kids' school, they're loading them up with all these kids from who knows where. And, you know, they want to shame the teachers to not complain about it. Because, you know, half of them don't speak English. They don't follow rules, like, you know, because they're not from here. So now I feel bad for the teachers that have to listen to this crap. All right. I'm going to finish soon, but this is the last one. African migrant brags that children are money trees in Canada, suggesting that a child care benefit she receives magically appears out of nowhere. So yeah, there's hundreds of millions of Africans that want to come here and take the child benefit with their 10 kids.
Depending on how much you are making.
Okay.
If you are making a lot of money, if you have children, government will give you money for having children. Does that mean everybody get the money? No. If you don't have paper, people that are still struggling with papers, they don't get it. People that have been here for a long time and they are making a lot of money. So there's a threshold to it. Depending on how much you are making. If you are making a lot of money, your child care benefit reduces gradually until you don't even qualify to get it at all. Okay, so it's free money for you having children. They give it to you. Federal government add to it. State government, that is the province, they add to it. And depending on where you're living in Canada, they have a way to.
Yeah. So anyway, they're sending a message back home. Come get the free money. All right. Okay. Just gonna finish off. I'm going to read some of the comments here. Indian fatigue growing quickly in the U.S., unlike Canada, where many people can't stand the Indian invasion but are still afraid of being called racist. Just going to read a few of these. Indians are from the most racist nation on earth. They can't play the race card. Okay. That's probably true. Has nothing to do with skin color. They're coming to America with fake degrees and certification, taking American jobs, and companies are getting a tax break hiring them. They do not assimilate with Americans. In IT, they are highly unqualified in many cases, so skin has nothing to do with it. Call me racist, I don't care. These people need to get the F out and go home. If that's racist, so be it. Kicker is there are illegals and scammers of all races. Indians just went too hard, too fast. Couldn't help themselves, they just got a scam. I like these comments. Okay. Corporations push globalism and sent tens of millions of Indians to the white world to undercut everyone's jobs. That makes sense. I mean, there are in every country. Their cheap labor is turning into political power, and Indians are hardcore socialists. The hate has only just begun. I was fatigued over a decade ago when seemingly every Midwestern small town hotel I stayed in was run by Indians. They all own the hotels. I stayed at one and it was not pretty. I'm going to sleep in my car next time. Once they are deported from America, the rest of the world will grow a spine. I hope so. Like, unfortunately, they'll probably all come here to Canada. All right. So those are some of the comments. This text said, we'll never stop raising hell. Senator Ted Cruz, what are you doing about this illegal immigration problem? Be very specific here. I'm racist now. Lived here all my life, 68 years. Those people have to be deported. Yeah. The States is starting to be... Okay. They're everywhere in KC, especially Costco. All right, you get the idea. So, I don't know, like, it's all Indians today. I don't want people to think I'm obsessed with Indians, because I'm not. Well, I am, because I can't go anywhere without being surrounded. But I'd like to talk about something else for sure. But you got to prioritize, I guess. So we'll talk tomorrow. We'll see. Maybe they'll start the war again, so we can talk about the Iran war. Until then, we'll find out tomorrow. April 25th. Saturday, April 25th. We'll see what happens. Until then, have a nice night.